Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kyle Thomas here. Forgive me, it's a hot mess. I'm in Honduras, everything's in shambles, and I'm waiting on some passport stuff, but I still had something I wanted to share. I've shared my own NDE experience, near-death experience, in interviews and listening to others, and it struck me that there's something missing, right? There's a foundational aspect that's missing, right? All of these experiences that we share are still stories, right? And stories are inherently within this holographic simulation, right? It is part of what helps construct this simulation. And this isn't meant to bash anybody's experience or anything. But for me, I wanted to get to more of a foundational truth. Okay, what's below all of these experiences? What's the point? And I feel as if many of you that research these things also want to figure out what's the point. And that's what I want to share with you today. So the first thing, perception. Our perception is the hologram. Just looking at it at a basic point of view, right? It is our senses that take data, and right, sensory data, and our nervous system takes that, translates it, and projects it onto the screen of consciousness to be observed by some observer. Right? It's as if we are swimming through an ocean of light, and the photons, the individual aspect or expression of light that we are individually, our individual consciousness is the prism of which diffuses that light into the multitude of colors in order to create this experience within the hologram. Right? It works together. What is a hologram? It is light being molded and manipulated by data or information to create something. But in this case, to create experience. So now that we see that, what is the information that molds light into form? And for this example, again, I know there's other layers. There is an intelligence to this light that we swim within. Right? It's the intelligent light. It's not just light itself. Light has an intelligence. It has data. It has information. Right? Frequencies. Frequencies inherently carry information. So the light itself is also intelligent. But our influence is the story we tell ourselves about what we're perceiving or about that light. One way to look at it is that, okay, so if we're in a simulation, right, a hologram, play of light, so there's got to be some kind of simulation to it, or else what's the point? Inherently within a simulation, you are desiring to grow through experience, right? Be it a flight simulator, a driving simulator, a life simulator. So take an airplane simulator, right? You're learning how to fly an airplane, but within the safety of not crashing when you crash. It's a video game, it's okay. That same premise goes here, right? We are here to learn and grow through experience. The intelligent light in all its infinite boredom desired to experience novelty, this new things, and it can only do that by dividing itself, forgetting its past, and experiencing specific outcomes of specific inputs. So take your childhood. Your childhood molded a specific personality within you. You were loved, you were despised, you were abandoned, you were taken in, you were saved, had many friends, had no friends. All these different things happened to you that helped to mold your ego construct. And the ego's not bad. It's not about killing the ego. It's about retraining the ego, right? You need the ego to have an individualized experience. It's part of the purpose. If light wanted to experience individuated experience, it needed to create an individual, i.e. the ego. So the ego is part of the simulation. It is a tool. It is a necessary tool. And it's not about killing it. It's about reprogramming it. And we'll get into that in the next segment. The other aspect, right, if it's a simulation or if we want to treat it as a video game, the other aspect is what else are we here to learn? Okay, experiencing a specific molded expression of consciousness, great. But is there anything else we could learn? And like I said, we can retrain the ego. So the other aspect of the simulation is to test/exercise your ability to re-sovereignize, we'll coin a new term, yourself. That early childhood also includes parental or non-parental, but some kind of exterior guidance that helped mold that perception, right? And this includes education, this includes religion, this includes scientific understanding, and all these different things we accumulate, all these different data points we accumulate over time that influence how we see reality. The next part of the game is, can you break that mold? Right? This is what I call the NPC mentality, right? The NPC, the non-playable character in video game vernacular, are the beings that are created by the game itself. Or in this instance, programmed by the game, programmed by the simulation. Again, education is external, it's part of the simulation. Religion, external, part of the simulation. Science, external, part of the simulation. Forget everything you think you know, because everything's wrong. Now I know people are going to argue about that, and of course I'm not saying that as a truism or as any kind of truth, but the underlying premise is there. We have to learn to reanalyze what we think we know, because these things are influencing our experience. Can you free yourself from the matrix, right? The matrix isn't the simulation itself. That's necessary. That was divine intention, right? The light wanted to experience itself and all the possibilities that are infinite, right? It wanted novelty and it wanted experience. And so the simulation is necessary. It's not about escaping the simulation. Escaping the matrix is escaping the mental prisons constructed by the NPC programming or being programmed by external authorities. Again, education, religion, science, history, blah, 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 all these things. And it's because ultimately, okay, so in this simulation, there's no bad or there's no good, but I have there's another video I'll link up here, and that has to do with the hijacking of the simulation. This idea that the simulation was hijacked by parasites. As a way, again, these are all metaphors to explain, but I think we can all see that there's some truth to it nowadays. In summarization, that a group of people, understanding that it was thoughts and emotions and information that molded our collective holographic reality, that if you can control the information, then you can control the minds of the perceivers. Right? Your perception is creating reality into form, right? You are the prism that turns white light into a multitude of colors that allows reality to manifest, right? Your perception creates reality. But if you can control the minds of the perceivers, of the creators, then you can control the creation. And you can call the groups whatever you want, there's no point. But through the understanding of what's going on, you can come to reorient yourself to free yourself from the matrix, we'll say, yeah? It's not about casting blame, blah, 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 because then that just keeps you in the matrix, because now you're still externally focused. You're not taking self-responsibility. You're putting your blame onto something external and not taking it internally and making yourself responsible for your own place of being, state of being that you are here now. So get rid of that whole blame game thing. Yes, there's this story going on, there's this stuff. Don't get caught up in that, but by understanding what's going on, you can better work with it within yourself. And that's the point. And then as we, as a collective, come to understand these things, it's our thoughts and emotions and that we individually influence reality, because we are the creators of reality, right? Our perception turns light into form. Our emotions influence it, and our thoughts and belief systems influence how we create reality. We as a collective are creating a shared collective solidification of imagination as a way to look at it. Again, semantics. But we as a collective are turning light into form and creating an experience, a shared collective experience. So as we come to understand our power and our influence, right, as we are the creators, we're the ones turning light into form now, remember. And as we begin to retrain our minds to decondition ourselves from the NPC mentality, or decondition ourselves from the authoritative conditioning, right, being dependent on authority to give us truth, we can find our own truth, we discover our own truth through experience, then reality begins to change. So it's about letting go of all that, of the external authority. Coming to understand that you can recondition, reprogram yourself. You can choose specific emotions. You don't have to be a slave to the external. Again, that's part of the matrix mindset. Right? A slave to the system, a slave to authority. And becoming self-sovereign, understanding that you can influence your own energy, your own emotions, thoughts, and feelings. And by doing so, you take part in helping to transform our shared collective solidification of imagination into something new. Right? The new golden age of man, whatever you want to call it. But whatever it'll be, I'm sure it'll probably be better than what we've had before. And with that, those will be topics into the future. Understanding the social organism and how society is a social organism, and if we, again, fractal nature of reality, learn from nature, we can actually construct better societies, blah, 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 future topics. But hopefully these were some foods of thought to help inspire new contemplations. And these aren't far off and out there. All these things I've shared with you can be experiential. You can play with your own perception. What is this light that I see? Go gaze. Go gaze at some trees. Go do some mirror gazing. Play with your perceptions a little bit. Feel outside of your body. Do out-of-body experiences. But all these things just show you the underlying possibility or underlying happening that is, perception is holographic. The hologram creates a simulation. The simulation has specific lessons to learn, and through learning these lessons, we can begin to influence the simulation into a new direction. It's just like a class. First, we got to graduate the class, we got to learn the lessons, and then we can go on to the next level. But first, we got to learn these lessons of which we've been distracted from for far too long. Okay, with those final words, I am done. Next time.